Welcome back. I know y'all thought I was not coming, but there's no way that I would miss this final season of The Handmaid's Tale without coming back and reviewing this season. I know I've been gone. I know I've not been doing any reviews, but this is my homage and thank you to all those people who subscribed and watched my channel when I was doing Handmaid's Tale for those last two seasons. This is for you. So I know I'm a little late. They released like 3 episodes all at one time, so it's going to take me a while to kind of churn through. But I am going to get through every episode, and this is my present to you because I want to thank you guys for watching the channel, for subscribing. It doesn't matter to me how many people watch. This is my thank you out there for you all just watching, for all those times when I was doing this and trying to get through my like creative lulls. So anyway, let's get to it. So let's get some ground rules down first for those who forgot, right? Here are our 3 ground rules. My foot will stay on Serena's neck until otherwise proven, right? My foot will stay on Luke's neck until otherwise proven, and my foot will stay on Moira's neck until otherwise proven, right? Because all 3 ain't ish anyway, right? But it just so we know, so if you a Serena fan, if you a Luke stan, if you a Moira stan, this ain't gonna be for you. Don't worry about like or subscribing or sharing, because you're gonna be mad because I can already tell from this first episode, they gonna get the business from me every episode that they're in. But, you know, things can change or whatever, because one of the main themes about this episode is the shifting of alignments, right? So if you're new to this channel, this is where we're talking about films, comic books, television, all with a little key with an eye towards screenwriting, acting, directing. So let's get the thematics out the way, right? So this whole episode is called The Train because when we last left them, they were on the train, right? So I thought when they got on the train, they were going to go to Hawaii. So I was like, well, how do we get to Hawaii from the train? Child, they just on the train, right? They're just on the train. And I said, if this episode starts off with like Serena and June playing patty cake, I'm going to already be mad. But nope, June is a part of my school, and she starts off with her foot on Serena's neck at every instance. And Serena's trying to be all nice, and she's like, and she's like, literally, like when June would take these deep breaths and be like, Lord Jesus, I know you trying me with this train and with this bitch already. Because Serena would be like, oh, you know, how you doing? Are you okay? She's like, leave me the fuck alone, okay? Like, I don't need your help. I don't want your help. And she's like, but June, we're in this together. She's like, bitch, we ain't in this together. So June decides she gonna doze off and sleep, right? She wakes up and her baby's gone. So, of course, being June and Serena being Serena, she's like, I know this bitch ain't ran off with my motherfucking child, okay? So she gets up and she was like, she goes, she goes, silly me. I thought you'd be cranky if you didn't get some rest and whatever. She's like, bitch, keep your hands off my motherfucking child, okay? So she was like, look, I know you got all this static for me, but we in this together. So anyway, they're going back and forth, and she's like, look, girl, I don't trust you. I don't like you. Stop fucking with me. And Serena's like, trying to act all really brand new, throwing Bible verses out the way, which is just really irking the fuck out of, like, June, too, because she's just like, oh. So anyway, Serena's just irking her whole nerves. And I was just like, don't get caught up, June, because you know what? As soon as Serena gets an opportunity, she gonna be back on her bullshit anyway, right? So they're on the train, they're watching. So they're like, the train is packed. So they stopped in Winnipeg, added more people. The train is just like packed with folks, and they're like chugging on along. They don't even know where they're gonna go. Moira calls and tells them that they ain't going to Vancouver anymore, that the train's just gonna keep on going, right? So anyway, June wakes up, and so then she goes, and Serena's like, let me get you a doctor. So then the doctor comes over. Oh, let me stop. So then she was like, oh, so in the beginning of the episode, right? Serena's like, you broke your arm. She's like, yes, my arm is broke. Someone tried to run me over. Serena's like, what? They tried to run you over? Yeah, yesterday somebody hit me with a car and ran over my arm. The fuck is wrong with you? She was like, oh. And so really, Serena is really taking this in because she's just like, Like for all the bullshit we give June, she does got some like black person ilk to her, right? Because she does know how to take a licking and keep on ticking. Whereas Serena, just fragile white woman, like the Wheeler's child almost took her out. Like, so Serena's just kind of like, oh, June, you so strong. And she's like, yeah, bitch, I'm strong. The fuck wrong with you? Get off my broken arm. Leave me the hell alone. So now Serena decides she gonna be Captain Save-A-Ho and go look for a doctor for June, trying to like make up, be good, whatever bullshit Serena stays on, right? So the doctor comes, he's like, oh, you got an infection, whatever. And Serena, and so then, there's all these people. So then Serena's trying to get the doctor. There's another pregnant lady in the car. So Serena's trying to do her whole shit, trying to get the doctor to look after all the people and whatever, right? Let's cut to Moira. Well, at least Moira wasn't like, munching on any box this episode, right? So I'll take my heel off her neck a little bit because that's literally all she did the past 3 seasons is take down every lesbian in Canada, right? So I guess she got lockjaw and her tongue is tired, and I guess she decided she's gonna actually do some type of work or whatever. So she goes to see Mark, and Mark is like, I don't know why you come and see me, like we ain't got nothing to do, right? Because our forces have been depleted, they shut down our planes, literally our little American resistance is pretty much over. She's like, well, we can't give up. So he's like, what about Mayday? And Moira's like, well, what you know about Mayday? He's like, well, what you know about Mayday? So it finally comes out that the America has been funding Mayday, right? So she's like, well, we're just going to join Mayday and we're going to fight. So this is kind of like the beginning of the last stand, right? Like this whole season is giving me very much Avengers Endgame Infinity Wars. Like if they don't take Gilead down like this season, like Gilead is going to stand, right? So that's Moira and Mark. So like they're going to start forming this resistance or whatever, right? Now we get on to Nick, because as you remember last season, Nick barged into Commander Lawrence's house and popped Commander Lawrence in the face because he thought that Commander Lawrence was behind June getting run over with a car. So now Nick comes out of jail, he comes home, and he's outside having him a cigarette like, oh, this bullshit, right? Like his wife Rose, who stays salty as fuck, right? She just gives him the scowl and goes back inside. And then all of a sudden, Commander Wharton shows up, which is his father-in-law, which is Rose's daddy. And he's like, this motherfucker. So he's like, oh, hey, I got you out of jail. You need to go, apologize, Commander Lawrence. So they sit down and he's like, look, well, what happens between a man and a wife is between you. I'm not going to get in you and Rose's business. Parentheses, when somebody says that and they're related to that person, they gonna be in your business. So he was like, but you gotta smooth this on over. You gotta make decisions. You got a child coming. You're gonna be a father soon. And then he really starts to kind of high-key talk about Nick and like all these people, whatever. And he was like, look, you just gotta make better decisions, okay? Because you had all these little father figures coming in and out your life and, whatever. And I'm like, well, who are you trying to be? But you really can't be mouthy when your ass was in jail, right? So Nick just gotta sit here and take it. So he's like, well, okay, then when you go back to DC, he goes, oh, they'll be okay with me, without me being here, without me being there. I think I'm gonna stick around for a while. Plus, I have a grandson coming soon. Nick goes, fuck. Because now this motherfucker's gonna be breathing down his fucking back the entire time, right? And that's pretty much all that happens with Nick. So now this Commander Wharton guy's in the mix, right? Now we go back to train with Serena and June. So they're trucking along, whatever. They're looking for food, rice cakes. Doctor comes over to June and pretty much says, I don't know how much you know about your friend, but she ain't who she says she is. June's like, child, I know this bitch in and out. She who she is. He's like, I think she's a refugee. I think she's a war criminal traveling on fake papers. She's like, why do you say that? I know who she is. He was like, we ought to already call the police, and the police are coming, and they go take her. And she's like, and Serena's like standing over here, and June's like, well, make sure that nothing happens to the baby, right? And so he's like, whatever. So now, here comes the police officer. He comes in, and I was like, boom, boom, boom. And so then the doctor is like, you know what? I used to work for Gilead in the fertility clinics. And I remember when the commanders would come in, and sometimes they bring their wives, and their wives would ask some of the most intelligent questions. Isn't that right? Serena Joy Waterford. And I was like, okay, girl, what you gonna do, right? So now The police comes in, looks at the paper. Now everybody in the whole car is like upset, right? Because they're like, that her, Miss Serena, the architect of all this bullshit, is sitting up in this car and they're like, with us as refugees, they are pissed, okay? Mind you, like this episode starts off with like this kind of flash of June remembering Hannah. Now, as you recall, every episode, is June remembering Hannah, but the segments are getting shorter and shorter, right? Usually we used to be like, oh, they're having pancakes and they're going to the mall. It's like it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter, as if Hannah is getting smaller and smaller and smaller in June's mind. Now, I wanted to point that out because it was just a little fragment at the beginning. So anyway, the people in the refugee are pissed. And they about to fuck Serena up. Now, in the midst of this, right, the officer comes, looks at their papers, it was like, oh, I think she's all totally okay. And they're like, what? Then he's like, I had a wife and I had a daughter. I had a wife and I had a son. She was sent to the colonies. They'd be 11. Blessed be. And pretty much the police officer leaves Serena to the refugees for them to fucking kill her or whatever. And then Serena, in the midst of this, decides her dumb ass will start quoting Bible verses and telling people how broke America was and how it was her ideas that fixed it and that they were people and now people are better off when Gilead. And June's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Shut the fuck up. She's like, and I was like, girl, I mean, what you gonna do? You got a whole ass newborn baby and now you's like spouting off at the mouth. Child, Serena stay on bullshit. This is why my foot stays on her fucking neck, because she stays on bullshit. Anyway, we keep going, and the people are like, they about to fuck her up. Police officers leave, so then they start to run, okay? So then June pulls the emergency brake for the train. So it shifts everybody back. So then they run, lock people in the thing. And you would have thought this was like Night of the Living Dead, The Walking Dead, the way they are about to break that pain to fuck Serena up. They are not fucking around. And June's like, girl, you got to jump. She's like, girl, you got to jump. You got to jump. And Serena's like, what? I can't. I want to do. And just planes are breaking and people busting. She goes, what? I got to do. And it's finally June just like pushed the bitch right on off the train. She's like, girl, boo, boo, boo. Right? So she pushes June off. Finally, folks like break out. And now they're mean mugging June. And I really thought for a second, they were going to fuck around with June. But somebody in the group must have told her who they were fucking with. Because they were like, you a traitor. You a whatever. I think some person probably spit on her. That's the most they did is spit on her. Because I was like, now, Serena, y'all would have made easy work, but I think June would have killed a couple of y'all with a baby in hand. So y'all were pretty much leave her the fuck alone, right? And it's really kind of sad because prior to like June pushing Serena off the train, they kind of had come to this detente, right? Because the fact is, June had revealed to Serena, look, my husband's in jail. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I got to get back to him. And pretty much Serena's like, child, I ain't got nobody. I'm not used to this like refugee in life, right? Like you used to being on the run. And then she was like, why are you trying to make it romantic? Because Serena was really trying to act like they were like Bonnie and Clyde '03 or some shit like that. And she was like, girl, I'm not used to this. Like we better stick together. So finally, by this point, Serena had worn June down to be like, okay, we together, only for her to have to push the bitch off the train, right? So anyways, June falls asleep. The train lands. They're like, last stop. She in Alaska, child. So she gets off the train. The little American flag only got 2 stars on it. I was like, oh God, Hawaii and Alaska. Gilead has taken everything else, right, by this point. So she's there. So she's standing in line, and we see this woman who's like calling out names on a clipboard. And then finally, and by a few seconds, I kind of figured out who it was, but I wasn't sure. So then when she drops the clipboard and she says, June Osborne, sweetheart, I was like, oh my God, it's her mother. So if you recall, June's mother was a doctor, very liberal, very progressive, and they snatched her up and put her to the colonies, right? So now she's in Alaska. And June is like, oh my God. So June is reunited with her mother. Nicole now has a grandmother. And this is the first season premiere of like The Handmaid's Tale that I can remember where we actually have like a pretty good start for June. Typically, they start off pretty good, but by the end of the episode, June gets screwed over somehow, or whatever. And this actually episode was a really good start. I was like very, very, very pleased with kind of like the setup, what they're doing, right? So that was really all that happened in this episode. Like, there wasn't really a whole lot. The next couple of episodes, I've already finished those, the next two, which I'll put up reviews in the next couple of days. That's where we start to see the increasing stakes in the bullshit. But this episode pretty much sets out our topography of kind of like what's going to happen. There's one more storyline that they're going to tack on in the third episode. So now we'll see all our storylines, right? We get the June shit. We get Serena and her bullshit. We get Maura and Luke. And then we have the other extra storyline, which of course is One-Eyed Janine with the battery pack in her ass that got her fucked up anyway. But we'll get to that in episode 3. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I am so glad to be back. Let's enjoy this last ride. Drop down in the comments. If I forgot something, let me know. Like I said, we got 2 more episodes to go. They released all 3, which was a surprise. But like I said, I am so glad to be back. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys soon. Bye. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And please remember to check out some of my other videos.